This is my current gaming PC, and although this might be the coolest PC that I've ever built, it's time for an upgrade. So today I'm building my dream gaming PC for $1,500. The only problem is, well, I'll tell you later. The first step to build the dream gaming PC is making sure you've got the money. And for the last 6 months I've been flipping my way from $150 to $1,500 to afford this gaming PC. And I also documented the whole journey, if you haven't seen it. Now, the second step is where the fun really begins, which is the research part. This is where you find out what you want your PC to look like and what components you want in your computer. This is also where my inspiration came from, because I wanted my PC to look like this. See, I've had a white PC for, I don't know, a year or two, and although I really love the white PC builds because they look so clean, I feel like this aesthetic is more my vibe. So I asked ChatGPT for the best composition for $1,500, just to make sure that my expectation would match the reality. And even though this might be the best combination that you could buy, I chose to go with something else because I've used this CPU, the Ryzen 7 7000X, and I've had it for a year or two and it's just been great, so I have no intention to upgrade that anytime soon. So now that I knew which components I would like, I made a budget to make sure that everything would add up, and it did, so I don't want to bore you with that one. And then step 3 would be the actual process of getting the parts. And because I'm going to reuse some of the parts from my old build, I already have the motherboard, the CPU, the RAM and the SSD. So I can just grab these from the old build and move on to the next, which normally would be the GPU, but that's the problem I was talking about earlier, so I'll wait for that one. And I also just want to take a moment for this graphics card, because it's probably the best card that I ever had, and also the prettiest card that I ever had. I just think it looks so cool. But usually I would get the CPU and the GPU as the first two things because they are probably the most expensive parts and the most important parts. Okay, so this is everything that I'm going to use for the new PC. This is the motherboard, it's a B650 from MSI, and under here there is a 500GB SSD. I know it's not much, but it has all my games and all my files. Then there is 32GB of DDR5 RAM and the Ryzen 7 7700X CPU. So, but in the meantime I found the case, the CPU cooler, for a pretty good price. These two I bought new. And the case comes with 4 RGB fans, and I hope there is enough space for the CPU cooler on top. There should be. And then I bought a 750 watt power supply from Facebook, which should be enough for this build. So now I can move on to the final and the most exciting part, which is step number 4, the build, where I can actually build the gaming PC. And wow, I mean, look at this. This is just beautiful already. Okay, so as always when I'm building a PC, I'm stumbling across some sort of problem, and this one is the CPU cooler that I couldn't fit in, but somehow I made it fit anyway, so I don't know why I showed you this. Yeah, it worked, and here it is. Okay, so here's the little problem. I originally planned that I wanted to build with an RTX 5070, but then I researched a bit more and realized that the RX 9070 probably was the better choice, or the RX 9070 XT. So I looked around for either of those cards used, so I could save some money and also be within my budget. And then I stumbled across this PC, which was a whole PC with a RX 7900 XT. It was just such a good price that I wanted to buy the PC and just use the graphics card for this build. But he didn't reply, so I posted a TikTok asking for help if I should choose the RX 9070 or RTX 5070, and almost every comment said that the RX 9070 was the better choice. So I found this card used, so I think I saved like $100 or something. I wish I found the RX 9070 XT, but there just wasn't anyone for sale for a good price. I didn't want to pay extra if it's overpriced. So yeah, I secured a graphics card which I'm pretty happy about. So this is the last part that I need for this build. So yeah, I just put it in the computer and then my PC was actually done. But before I show the final PC build, I just want to go over the budget that I had. So I had $1,500 to build this whole gaming PC. So I already had the CPU, the motherboard and the RAM for my old build. And I bought this a year or a year and a half ago for $465 in total for these three. Which I feel like is okay now. And back then it was definitely a good price. And I also had the SSD that I bought for $45 back in the days. And then I bought the case for $110, which was new, and also the CPU cooler for another $70, which was also new. And then I got the power supply used for $60, and the final part was the RX 9070 for $705. And also I added sleeve cables, which is like $30. So yeah, in total this would be $1,485 for this build, which is just within my budget and it's perfect for what I need it for. So I couldn't be happier. So this is my dream gaming PC. And also I just want to say that I edited this whole video on this computer and it has just been a pleasure. It's actually a lot better than the RTX 3080. It's just smooth with like no freezing and it's just beautiful to look at. This is by far the coolest PC that I've ever built. And also I want to make an honorable mention for my old build and also some extra content for the PC flippers. Because I'm not going to just sell these parts. I had the CPU cooler, the power supply and obviously the case, and then I bought this motherboard with an i7. I added 32GB of RAM and an SSD and I put it inside the case. And also I got this very cheap off Facebook Marketplace and I didn't have a chance to test it before I bought it, so I didn't know if it was going to work. But I just added the mounts to the CPU cooler and I added it in the case and I hoped for the best. That's the first great sign. Oopsie daisy. There we go. There's something wrong. Still. Yeah, okay, so it didn't work. There was something wrong with the RAM LED and I don't know what's wrong. But I didn't want to test it anymore, so I just bought a new Ryzen bundle and I added this and that worked. I listed this on Facebook Marketplace and now I have this as my dream gaming PC, which I'm more than happy with. So yeah, that was it. Thank you for watching.